So amid increased scrutiny internationally, Israel's Prime Minister addressed the United Nations General Assembly a short while ago. As Netanyahu walked to the podium for his address, many delegates across UN member states left their seats, walked out of the assembly in an apparent sign of protest which indicates rising pressure on the Israeli leader. But a defiant Bibi centered his speech on slamming Hamas and a claim that Israel's existence remains under threat from the region.
But we're not done yet. The final elements, the final remnants of Hamas are holed up in Gaza City. They vow to repeat the atrocities of October 7th again and again and again, no matter how diminished their forces. That is why Israel must finish the job. That is why we want to do so as fast as possible.
Netanyahu went on to address the hostage crisis as many still remain in Hamas captivity, their fate dependent on a stalled ceasefire negotiation. As Bibi spoke, protests and rallies unfolded in New York demanding a deal that will release all hostages, a mission which Israel has claimed since almost 2 years but has failed to achieve in Gaza. As the Gaza Strip lies in ruins, international pressure, once again, I'm telling you, is mounting on Israel's Prime Minister. The most substantial remark has come from the corridors of US, Israel's biggest ally. While speaking to reporters at the White House, US President Donald Trump said that he will not allow Israel to annex the West Bank. The comments come after Trump met with leaders from Arab and Muslim countries on Tuesday on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly.
I will not allow Israel to annex the West Bank. No, I will not allow it. It's not going to happen.
Did you speak with Netanyahu about this directly?
Yeah, but I'm not going to allow it. Whether I spoke to him or not, I did. But I'm not allowing Israel to annex the West Bank. There's been enough. It's time to stop now, okay?
Now, Trump has also said that meetings with different stakeholders in West Asia have been fruitful in bringing everyone closer to a deal on Gaza. These comments come at a time when calls are growing in the international community to stop the war in Gaza. More recently, the global call has been accompanied by several Western countries officially recognizing Palestine, but the conversation of statehood remains paused until Israeli strikes stop on the besieged enclave and peace is restored for more than 2 million displaced Palestinians. As horrific visuals of carpet bombing in civilian areas continue to emerge from Gaza, countries are now resorting to other means to ramp up pressure on Israel. Slovenia has imposed a travel ban on Benjamin Netanyahu, becoming the first European Union nation to slap any sort of sanction on the Israeli leader. On the other hand, Spain has for the third time cancelled an arms deal with an Israeli defense company. The latest cancellation of a $207 million deal comes as part of other measures, which Spain's Prime Minister says are crucial to halt the genocide in Gaza. Now, for more on this, Susan Tehrani is joining us live from New York. Susan, thank you so much for joining us. We heard Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu address the United Nations General Assembly, quite a fiery, packed speech there. He mentioned a lot of things, especially the message for Hamas that was being broadcast to all Gazans on their mobile devices, as well as the loudspeakers, which he said had been arranged so that the message could go out to the hostages as well. Susan, what would you say were some of the biggest takeaways for you?
Benjamin Netanyahu really tried to frame this speech and Israel's war against Hamas as not only an Israeli fight, but also a U.S. and European fight. We saw that on numerous occasions he drew parallels to 9/11 and also incidents that happened during the Holocaust in Europe as well. He was heavy on anti-Semitism, and he was defiant to say that this fight is going to continue. Towards the end of his speech, he also mentioned Iran, which was very important. He said that it's very close, it's very near that the people of Israel and Iran will share peace and prosperity, perhaps a message to the Iranian regime back home, which is definitely listening to his speech as well. But I think it's noteworthy that the speech came not only shortly after President Trump made that comment about how he's not going to allow the annexation of the West Bank just yesterday, But also, just minutes after Netanyahu stepped down from the podium, President Trump, on his way to the Ryder Cup here in New York, said that he believes and he thinks that they have a deal on Gaza, and the hostages, dead and alive, are going to be coming home very soon. So there is a lot of developments going around Netanyahu's speech, but nonetheless, as you mentioned rightly, this was a defiant speech, really showing that Israel is not going to stop. And Netanyahu took this opportunity to sort of try to quell some of the media narratives that's been going around regarding Israel and the war against Hamas, the starvation, the malnutrition of Gazans. Those are things that the UN has been very critical of. He pinned that on Hamas and said that Israel is doing its best to not do that. So he was defending himself in many ways. But nonetheless, you know, it really does come at a time when the Middle East is at a critical juncture. And that's why we're seeing just one news after the other coming out. And the world is watching to see what really is going to happen ultimately with Gaza. Yeah.
You're right, Susan. He did say that Israel's war, it's fighting a war for everyone, Europeans and Americans. He said it means everything that they're fighting. They're doing the dirty work for them, also quoting Germany there. And he also mentioned that Palestinians themselves do not want and do not believe in the two-state solution. A lot was said, but of course the fact of the matter is that on ground, nothing changes, well, if nothing changes. So of course, how things pan out going forward, that's something that remains to be seen. Susan, thank you so much for bringing us the latest on this.